Hello, my friends. Derek from Bomb Socks here with more Bomb Bites, where we feast upon the words of Christ, and as always, we do it one bite at a time. So there is a lot going on in the Come Follow Me reading for this week, so I want to start off with a question for you. Have you ever been given a good book recommendation for someone? I know a lot of you like audiobooks or you like books to read, whatever it is out there. What was the book and who recommended it? Did you actually read it? And what role does the recommender play in your willingness to read the book? And I know I've got people, if they recommend to me certain books, the recommendation of the person does make a difference because they generally know me, they know my personality, they know my likes, and so they will recommend a good book to me. Well, with that in mind, you get into chapter 23 of 3rd Nephi, and you get to verse number 1. Now, behold, I say unto you that ye ought to search these things. Yea, a commandment I give unto you, that ye search these things diligently. For great are the words of Isaiah. Now, of course, you look at the chapter heading, Jesus approves the words of Isaiah. So here's Jesus not only saying, this would be a great idea, but he's saying, look, a commandment I give unto you, that you ought to study the words of Isaiah, because great are his words. Now, if there was a word that struck fear into the hearts of every member of the church, it is Isaiah. We talked about this way back in 2nd Nephi, because I know as we're getting into this chapters this week, there is a lot of Isaiah and a lot of things surrounding the words of Isaiah. And many of you are like, wait, didn't we already do this back in 2nd Nephi? Because you remember, you're reading 1st Nephi, and it's a pretty easy read. You get to the end, there's a couple of Isaiah chapters, there's a couple into 2nd Nephi, and then you've got this big, huge wall of Isaiah chapters, 13 chapters, I believe, where you see Nephi quoting the words of Isaiah, almost word for word. Now, I've heard a lot of people call this the Isaiah wall. I call it the Isaiah mountain, personally, because you can do many things. Some people will skip it, some people will skim it. My recommendation, as always, is to climb that mountain and understand how to study Isaiah. You can go back to some of our episodes back in 2nd Nephi, and I've given you some suggestions on how to understand the words of Isaiah. But when Jesus does say, great are the words of Isaiah, then we probably ought to find some significance in them. Now, personally, I love Isaiah. I think he is one of the easier Old Testaments to not only understand, but to relate to and see how his words apply to our day. And I've really tried to study him because I know that every single time I read the Book of Mormon, I'm going to come across 1/3 of the book of Isaiah. So I better learn how to love and understand this guy, or else every single time when you read the Book of Mormon, you keep hitting this Isaiah wall, and you want to make sure you understand it. And not just understand it, but grow to appreciate and love it. And so many Book of Mormon prophets loved Isaiah. Nephi loved Isaiah. Jacob loved Isaiah. And Jesus Christ loved Isaiah. So there's got to be something to this guy that we need to understand. Now, Isaiah is an Old Testament prophet, and I remember having someone tell me that, he lived about 150 years before Nephi lived, and so it's almost like the way we view Joseph Smith is the way Nephi viewed Isaiah. Now, the Book of Mormon essentially, chronologically, is an Old Testament book in the sense that you've got a group of individuals from the Old Testament who came out of that time period, and that's what we have with the Book of Mormon. They are a branch of the house of Israel that have been scattered to this continent. And so if you want to understand Isaiah, you kind of have to understand some basics of the house of Israel and the Gentiles, which is essentially, and this is maybe a poor comparison, but it's non-member and member. You've got the house of Israel who are the members, you got the Gentiles who are not members, and you get to see kind of how each of them, their relationship is with God. Now, one of the things to remember as you're studying about the house of Israel and covenants and all of those things, President Russell M. Nelson, now he said this back in his 2020 talk. You remember the talk called Let God Prevail, which is what he had studied is one of the definitions of Israel. And you remember this wonderful talk. He said, for more than 36 years, I've been an apostle. The doctrine of the gathering of Israel has captured my attention. Now, if you want to really understand President Nelson's talks well, click on those footnotes and check out those footnotes. And you see so much more to his talks to help you understand and appreciate his message. You look at this one right here, and some of you remember this. I have spoken of Israel in at least 378 of the more than 800 messages I have delivered during my 36 years as an apostle. Now, that was 4 years ago. And what's interesting, and you remember how I did this a few weeks ago for President Nelson's 100th birthday, I gave you a list of about 150 talks that President Nelson has officially given. Now, he said more than 800 messages, which tells me there is even more out there that he has given, which I absolutely love that. 378 of them, at least up to this point, was about the concept of Israel. Now, back to that quote. Everything about it has intrigued me, including the ministries and names of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. We'll talk more about them tomorrow. Their lives, their wives, the covenant God made with them and extended through their lineage, the dispersion of the 12 tribes, and the numerous prophecies about the gathering in our day. So the house of Israel captured President Nelson's attention. Now, it captured Isaiah's attention, it captured Nephi's attention, it captured Jacob's attention, and so many other prophets that it should also capture our attention. The concept of Israel should be something that means something to us, mainly because they are us and we are them, and there's covenants and there's responsibilities that go along with that for all of us. So the scriptural concept of Israel should mean something to us, and the scattering and the gathering of Israel should also mean something to us, and you get to see it all through these chapters that we're studying this week. So we're going to jump right in tomorrow to chapters 20 and 21 of 3rd Nephi, and you're going to see this concept all through this week, like I said. And once you understand our role in that, then the words of Isaiah start meaning something to us, and they actually become exciting for us to study. So I hope that helps you out this week. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for subscribing, and thanks for sharing these messages. As always, we're so grateful that you do that. If you like what you see, click the like button. It gets that message out there, and you got to go check out our amazingly comfortable gospel-themed socks at bombsocks.com. Godspeed. We will see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.